AC Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Nitai Gaura Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Guru Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayanam Namaskritya.
Narayanam Namaskritya.
Naram Chaiva Narottamam.
Naram Chaiva Narottamam.
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam.
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam.
Tato Jayamudiraye.
Tato Jayamudiraye.
Nasta Prayasva Bhadreshu.
Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu.
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya.
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya.
Bhagavati Uttama Shloke.
Bhagavati Uttama Shloke.
Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki.
Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki.
Hare Krishna. Good morning. Vijay, can you turn off that light? It's irritating. Anyway, thank you. So we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, the creative impetus. We are studying a new chapter, 17, the descent of the river Ganges. We'll do verse 1. I'll read the summary of the chapter and then we can read the first verse. The 17th chapter describes the origin of the Ganges river and how it flows in and around Ilavrita Varsha. There is also a description of the prayers Lord Shiva offers to Lord Shankarshana, part of the quadruple expansions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Lord Vishnu once approached Bali Maharaj while the king was performing a sacrifice. The Lord appeared before him as Trivikrama, or Vamana, and begged alms from the king in the form of 3 steps of land. With 2 steps, Lord Vamana covered all the 3 planetary systems and pierced the covering of the universe with the toes of his left foot. A few drops of water from the causal ocean leaked through this hole and fell on the head of Lord Shiva, where they remained for 1000 millenniums. These drops of water are the sacred Ganges river. It first flows into the heavenly planets, which are located on the soles of Lord Vishnu's feet. The Ganges river is known by many names, such as the Bhagirathi and the Jahnavi. It purifies Dhruva Loka and the planets of the 7 sages, because both Dhruva and the sages have no other desire than to serve the Lord's lotus feet. The Ganges river, emanating from the lotus feet of the Lord, inundates the heavenly planets, especially the moon, and then flows through Brahmapuri, atop Mount Meru. Here the river divides into 4 branches known as Sita, Alakhananda, Chakshu, and Bhadra, which then flow down to the ocean of salt water. The branch known as Sita flows through Shekhara Parvata and Gandhamadana Parvata, and then flows down to Bhadrashva Varsha, where it mixes with the ocean of salt water in the east. The Chakshu branch flows through Malyavanagiri and, after reaching Ketumala Varsha, mixes with the ocean of salt water in the west. Jai Shri Shri Gauratai Ki Jai, Shri Shri Jagannath Siddhipuranai Ki Jai. Many other rivers and their branches flow through the 9 Varshas. The tract of land known as Bharata Varsha is the field of activities, and the other 8 Varshas are for persons who are meant to enjoy heavenly comfort. In each of these 8 beautiful provinces, the celestial denizens enjoy various standards of material comfort and pleasure. A different incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead distributes His mercy in each of the 9 Varshas of Jambudvipa. In the Ilavrita Varsha, Lord Shiva is the only male. There he lives with his wife Bhavani, who is attended by many maidservants. If any other male enters that province, Bhavani curses him to become a woman. Lord Shiva worships Lord Shankarshana by offering various prayers, one of which is as follows. My dear Lord, please liberate all your devotees from material life and bind all the non-devotees to the material world. Without your mercy, no one can be released from the bondage of material existence. So now text 1. I'll chant. Shri Shukavacha Tatra Bhagavata Shakshat Yagna Lingasya Vishnu Vikramato Vamapadangusta Naka Nirvinno Dvandakata Kathaha Vivarenanta Pravista Yabaya Jala Dharatacharana Pankajavane Janaruna Kinjal Kobaranjita Kila Jagaraga Malapaho Pashparshanamala Sakshat Bhagavat Paditi Anupalakshita Vacho Vidiyamanati Mahata Kalena Yuga Sahasro Palakshanena Divo Muddani Avatatara Yattat Vishnu Padam Mahu. Okay, translation. Shukadeva Goswami said, my dear king, Lord Vishnu, the enjoyer of all sacrifices, appeared as Vamana Deva in the sacrificial arena of Bali Maharaj, Then he extended his left foot to the end of the universe and pierced a hole in it, covering with the nail of his big toe. Through the hole, the pure water of the causal ocean entered this universe as the Ganges River, having washed the lotus feet of the Lord, which are covered with reddish powder. The water of the Ganges acquired a very beautiful pink color. Every living being can immediately purify his mind of material contamination by touching the transcendental water of the Ganges, yet its waters remain ever pure. Because the Ganges directly touches the lotus feet of the Lord before descending within this universe, she is known as Vishnupadi. Later, she received other names like Jahnavi and Bhagirathi. After 1000 millenniums, the water of the Ganges descended on Dhruvaloka, the topmost planet in this universe. Therefore, all the learned sages and scholars proclaim Dhruvaloka to be Vishnupada, situated on Lord Vishnu's lotus feet. Okay, let's chant the translation. You can follow. Shukadeva Goswami said, My dear King, Lord Vishnu, the enjoyer of all sacrifices,
My dear King, Lord Vishnu, the enjoyer of all sacrifices,
appeared as Vamana Dev in the sacrificial arena of Bali Maharaj.
appeared as Vamanadeva in the sacrificial arena of Bali Maharaj.
Then he extended his left foot
Then he extended his left foot
to the end of the universe
to the end of the universe
and pierced a hole
and pierced the hole
in its covering with the nail of his big toe.
in its covering with the nails of his big toe.
Through the hole,
Through the hole,
the pure water of the causal ocean
pure water of the causal ocean
entered this universe as the Ganges River.
entered this universe as the Ganges River.
Having washed the lotus feet of the Lord,
Having washed the lotus feet of the Lord,
which are covered with reddish powder,
which are covered with reddish powder,
the water of the Ganges acquired
the water of the Ganges was
a very beautiful pink color.
very beautiful pink color.
Every living being
Every living being
can immediately purify his mind
can immediately purify his mind
of material contamination
of material contamination
by touching the transcendental water
by touching the transcendental water
of the Ganges.
of the Ganges.
Yet its waters
Yet its waters
remain ever pure.
remain ever pure.
Because the Ganges directly touches
Because the Ganges directly touches
the lotus feet of the Lord
the lotus feet of the Lord
before descending within this universe,
before descending within this universe.
she is known as Vishnupadi.
She is known as Vishnupadi.
Later she received other names
Later she received other names
like Jahnavi and Bhagirathi.
like Jahnavi and Bhagirathi.
After 1000 millenniums,
After 1000 millenniums,
the water of the Ganges
the water of the Ganges
descended on Dhruvaloka,
descended on Dhruvaloka,
the topmost planet in this universe.
the topmost planet in this universe.
Therefore, all learned sages and scholars
Therefore, all learned sages and scholars
proclaim Dhruvaloka to be Vishnupada,
proclaim Dhruvaloka to be Vishnupada,
situated on Lord Vishnu's lotus feet.
situated on Lord Vishnu's lotus feet.
Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivinoda Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Purport. In this verse, Sukadeva Goswami describes the glories of the Ganges River. The water of the Ganges is called Patita Pavani, the deliverer of all sinful living beings. It is a proven fact that a person who regularly bathes in the Ganges is purified both externally and internally. Externally, his body becomes immune to all kinds of disease, and internally, he gradually develops a devotional attitude toward the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Throughout India, many thousands of people live on the banks of the Ganges, and by regularly bathing in her waters, they are undoubtedly been purified both spiritually and materially. Many sages, including Sankaracharya, have composed prayers in praise of the Ganges, and the land of India itself has become glorious because such rivers as the Ganges, Yamuna, Godavari, Kaveri, Krishna, and Narmada flow there. Anyone living on the land adjacent to these rivers is naturally advanced in spiritual consciousness. Srila Madhvacharya says, Varahe Vamapadam tu Tadanyeshu tu Dakshinam Padam Kalpeshu Bhagavan Ujjahara Trivikramaha. Standing on his right foot and extending his left foot, extending his left to the edge of the universe, Lord Vamana became known as Trivikrama, the incarnation who performed three heroic deeds. Om Ajnanatamrandasya Jana Jana Shalakaya Chakshu Sanvetamena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah Mukam Karoti Vachanam Pangam Langyate Girim Yakripadamam Vande Shri Gurun Janataram Paramanandamaram Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Savadana Gadadaya Pushpanta Chitra Sandota. So in this chapter we see the very first verse discusses about the Ganges river and how she was first, the origin of Ganga itself. So that's what we are seeing here. And generally, if you want to know about, this is how it happens, but then if you go to the 8th canto, you get the full detailed story in the pastime of Bali Maharaj. Yeah. And then later on, in the 9th canto, you also understand how Ganges came into this planetary system. Okay? So it's not just a ordinary river, right? It's not ordinary. She is a goddess. She's a goddess. She's a living person, and she's also known as the purifier of fallen souls. Therefore, she has the name Patita Pavani. Maybe someone can get that name, Patita Pavani. Hopefully they are compassionate. And in a sense, she is connecting the upper planetary system to the middle planetary systems. She didn't want to go to the lower planetary system because she felt that they are so fallen, they will put a lot of sin in her. She has to accept too much. Huh? So you can see there's discussion of Ganga in the Vedas, in the Ramayana, in the Mahabharata, and in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Yeah, so each one give you different observation and discussions like that. And in all cases, she is revered very nicely. Yeah. So here we can see also how the first time it happened was when Lord Vamana Dev, he came as a young Brahmana boy, Brahmachari. And at that time Bali Maharaj was doing this big sacrifice and he was giving charity to all the Brahmanas. So whilst he was giving all this, the young Vamana Dev came and said he wants some charity. And when Bali Maharaj asked him what, he said, I only want 3 steps of land. So then Bali Maharaj said, what kind of, you're not so intelligent. You know, I can give you the world, everything. And there's a nice discussion because Vamana Dev said, if I can't be satisfied with a small plot, then I won't be satisfied with how much you give also. So you just give what I want. So when he appeared, he was very effulgent, extremely effulgent. And so Sukracharya, he said, this is none other than Vishnu himself. So then he went to his disciple, Bali Maharaj, and whispered in his ear, don't give him anything. Say no to him. Then he said, why? Then this is Vishnu himself. He's come here to take all that you have conquered and give it back to Indra. So deny him, say no. Then Bali Maharaj was thinking, the goal of life is to please Vishnu. And here my spiritual master is saying, don't please. I cannot understand this. And I think the higher principle is to please Narayana, Vishnu. So therefore, he rejects his guru. He says, no, I will give because it's the Lord himself is asking. And Sukracharya became very unhappy. And so he said, you will lose everything. He curses his own disciple because he didn't listen to him. And Srila Prabhupada mentions that actually Bali Maharaj was correct for rejecting such a guru because the guru is not advocating devotional service. He's advocating Sukra means semen, that means this in the family lineage, and it's not important. Our family lineage are all temporary, whereas the Supreme Lord, Narayana, we want to have an eternal relationship. So therefore, Sukracharya was wrong in that case. So then he agrees and he make the contract is you pour water. So he pours water, means I will give you what you ask. So he says, okay, you can take 3 steps of land. And that's when Vamana Dev grew into a huge form, and that form is known as Trivikrama. Trivikrama means, as stated in this purport, at the end of the purport, that means he victorious in 3 ways. The first step he takes is he takes entire planet. The whole planet is free. And then the second step, he takes the entire planetary systems in the universe. Now he uses his left leg to take the universe. So when he does that, the big toe punctures the covering of the universe. The universe has 8 layers of covering. Jai Shri Shri Gauranitai ki Jai, Shri Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadramaya ki Jai, Shri ISKCON Guru Vrinda ki Jai. And so he said, now I've covered 2 steps, and at that time when he pierced the covering of the universe, drops of the Karana ocean, the causal ocean, start falling into the material universe. So they come down slowly, and then that's when the first Ganga starts like that. And it's only in the heavenly planets. She's only up there. They come to the heavenly planets. So in the heavenly planet, she's known as Mandakini Ganga. Mandakini means slow, right? But Ganga means fast. Yeah. So then after that, so that's how the water comes into this universe, and it is spiritual also, because not only is this sacred, the Karana ocean is actually coming from who? Huh? Of Mahavishnu, yeah. Coming from the Lord Mahavishnu. So it's already transcendental. And then now it's washing the feet of Narayana again. So therefore she is also known as Vishnu Pani. So that's the origin of the Ganga. And so as far as we know from the Shastra, she is only in this heavenly system. She is never coming down. So later on, in the lineage of Ayodhya, there's a king called Sagara. And so he has 60,000 sons by one wife and another son by another wife. So one time he was doing this Ashwamedha sacrifice. And after a few of these sacrifices, Lord Indra became very envious. Indra doesn't like anyone doing Ashwamedha sacrifice because Because if you are successful, then you have the right to become a king of the heavenly planets also. So he's very worried. You know, mainly because he is acting a part like a Sakama devotee, because he is also glorious actually. Um, so then Indra stole the horse. It's a white horse, and then he hid it. So then King Sagara couldn't do any of his Ashwamedha sacrifice. So he sent his sons, 60,000 sons, to go and look for them. These sons were very proud, very arrogant. They have some. They're not very favorable. They're not like. Probably they have some issues. They're not so favorable. Vishnu worshippers of Vishnu. So anyway, they go looking for the horse, and they go all over the universe. It seems, and finally they dig down. They go down to the lower planetary system, and when they come to Kapila Muni's ashram. So then they look at Kapila Muni, and next to him is the white horse. So immediately, without questioning, they assume he is the thief who stole the horse, and so they accuse him, and they rush to attack him. Because Kapila Muni is none other than the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and by accusing him, one is committing an offense. And because of the offense, the fire in their body burst out, and so they became what do you call that? Spontaneous combustion. All their body burnt, and they all 60,000 ash mounds, and they died like that. Sometimes people say Kapila Muni looked at them and burned them. That's not true. The Bhagavatam says it's not like that. It's the offense to the Lord that created that papa in their body, and it burned them. And Kapila Muni just looked at them to see what are they trying to do. And then he continued his meditation. So then later on, King Sagara was thinking, my son is gone, Then he sent his grandson, Angsuman, to go looking for what had happened. So he goes, and eventually he follows the same path of the 60,000 sons, and he comes to Kapila Muni's ashram. But Angsuman is very intelligent. He's more devotional also. So then he realized, he saw all the mounds, and he realized this is where and then he approached Lord Kapila, who was meditating, and offered nice prayers. So after a very lengthy period of time of prayers, Kapila Muni asked him what he wanted, and he was saying about the horse. Then Kapila Muni said, this is the horse you can take. And then what about my uncles who have been burnt? Then he said, there's no other way to help them or rescue them, but the only way you can purify is to bring the Ganges water and the ashes. When they mix, they can be liberated. So when he understood that, he went to perform, he took the horse back to King Sagara, but then he tried to perform the austerities to bring Ganga down. But whilst he tried, he wasn't successful. He got old, and eventually he left his body. Then his son, Dilipa, took the same task to perform, to help his father. And so he also performed great austerities, but still Ganga didn't come. So finally, Dilipa's son is Bhagirath. So he comes, and he is a great devotee of Lord Vishnu. So when he offers the praise to Ganga Devi, she accepts it. She said, I'll come to that place that you want, but when I come down with great force. She's a little bit proud. So I don't think anyone can sustain me unless you can get a male who's powerful and can sustain me. Then he thought about it, and he said, yes, no problem. I'll ask Lord Shiva to do that. And she said, okay, let's see. And she was thinking, let's see who's strong. And then she said, the second condition is, my concern is when I come down, people will bathe in my water and deposit all this sin, and I have to hold them. And I don't want to keep all the sins of others. What to do? Although she is purifying, still she didn't want to. So you can see they are not. She's not equal to Krishna in many ways, but she is of Krishna. So many tirthas are like that. You can go and bathe and they purify you, but they themselves must be purified. And the way it's done, Bhagirath said, the pure devotees, the saintly person, sages who come and take bath, they will purify you also. Then she said, okay, I accept that. So then he goes, Bhagirath then worships Lord Shiva. After Lord Shiva is easily pleased, so he pleases Lord Shiva and he says, so be it, I will do it for you. and then he Ganga came down, but she thought, I'm going to smash Lord Shiva. So she comes very strongly, and Lord Shiva smiles because he knows what she's trying to do. And when she comes to push him down, she can't, because he uses his matted locks, dreaded locks, and dreadlocks, and he captures her. And no matter how much force she goes, the water cannot come out of his hair. And then in the meantime, Bhagirath is like, all this tapasya is lost. So again he worships Lord Shiva, and he begs him, please, and the Lord Shiva smiles again. And one of his matlock, he opens a tiny hole, and that's where Ganga comes down to this planetary system. So you go to, what is that? Ganga Mukha, is it? Gangotri, Gangamukha, all those places. That's where Ganga comes. When you go there, it's just a little bit whole water's coming. But actually, she's coming from the heavenly planets. Because even though it's little hole is water is coming, you go down a few miles, it's so big. How is that possible? It's interesting, but we can't see that. And that's how she comes. And so here we see some of the things is like Srila Prabhupada writes here, right? Yeah. The names she has. She is also known as Janavi. Bhagirathi is because she helped she is brought by King Bhagirath. And Janavi is, what happened is when the way King Bhagirathi brings the river to the place where his uncles were, grandfathers were burnt, he uses a chariot. He rides in front of Ganga. So while he's going in the chariot to show her where to go, the way the Ganga is flowing, in one place there's a sage called Janu, and he's doing his meditation. So when this river came so strongly, he was thinking, it's going to wash me and disturb my meditation. So then with he's very mystical, very powerful. With his mystic potency, he carries her and he swallows her. It goes into his stomach. Again, Bhagirath had to go and pray and beg Janu Muni to please. And so after pleasing Janu Muni, he said, okay, I'll let you go. And so from his knees, he lets the Ganga come out from his knees. So knees are also called Janu. So therefore she is known as Janavi. He is also Janu and his knees of Janu. So that's how Janavi comes out. And so that's how she gets the name Janavi.
So in the Vamanadev's appearance, Ganges stays in the Durvaloka, but in the Kapila Muni's appearance, Ganges comes out.
Not in his appearance, Kapila. He's there at that time. In Ayodhya, in the kings of Ayodhya. King Sagara's time.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So she's known as Vishnu Padi, right? Because she is washing the feet of Vamanadevi. So therefore Vishnupadi. But when she comes to Dhruva Loka, Dhruva and all the sages, they also want to, and they're always serving the lotus feet of the Supreme Person also. So therefore Dhruva Loka is also known as Vishnupada. Because the waters are washing the feet of, and then the devotees there are always serving the lotus feet of Vishnu. So, because both Ganga is there, and it stays there for what they say, like thousands of years. So, because it's staying in a Dhruva Loka for thousands of years, known as Vishnupada, water that's washed from Vishnu's pada. But with the Bhagirath, King Bhagirath, she was then brought down from the heavenly planets. In some other description, the way the water comes from the causal ocean is that's like some kind of celestial flying buckets or something. The water comes like that. And then slowly comes, and they don't flow down, they flow like horizontal like that from the heavenly planets like that. But here it comes down. Okay. And then within this planet itself, of course, we also know in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Shrotasam Asmi Janavi. He says that I am, of the flowing waters, I am Ganges or Janavi. Yeah. Shrotasmi. Srotasam Asmi Janavi. So, of the flowing body of water, I am Ganges or Janavi. Like that. Even in the Skanda Purana, if you touch the water of Ganga, all your sin that you have for many lifetimes is gone. It also says even if the spray Ganga water in the air, if you breathe that also, you are purified. Very powerful. So you can liberate up to 7 generations if you take bath in the Ganga. Because it takes some time. You can actually become very spiritual, devotional, but it takes a long time, bathing in the Ganga. All your life you bathe, then you find you become devotional. But if you meet a devotee, you can become a devotee in a few days. So that's a difference, yeah. But she is powerful. When she came one time when she was cursed in the heavenly planet, she came down and married King Santanu. And she had a son, Bhishma. Or Deva Vrata, that was his name. And then he became Bhishma later on. So it is said in the Garuda Purana that if you even say Ganga, you get purified. Yeah, they say Ganga. But better than saying Ganga is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We get purified and we get to go back to Godhead.
So Maharaji, like the Ganga got cursed and then she came, but how we can relate that Shiva's story, and because Ganga is only one Ganga, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So a little bit confusion, like how we can relate, like from the Bhagavatam we understand that the Ganga flows from Shiva.
She is both the river Ganga and the demigoddess Ganga also. Right? They can have expansion.
Okay.
Right?
So the demigod got mixed into as a river, like she got.
She is always the river, and her personified form is Ganga, goddess Ganga.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just like that, Jamuna just like Yamuna.
Just like Yamuna River, Kalindi, all those personalities. I think your problem is you're thinking how there can be two persons.
Yeah.
But I'm saying she is the goddess Ganga, and she can expand as the river Ganga also. So when she came down, she's both the goddess and she's also the personality, the Ganges river also. That's her form in the material world, but she also has a form as a spiritual person. An eternal form she has is a goddess Ganga. Okay? Just like the Shaligram Shila is Vishnu, but he's also Vishnu, right? So you can understand like that. Vrinda Devi is Tulsi. Yeah. In the material world she is Tulsi, but she's Vrinda Devi in the spiritual world. She's a spiritual being, goddess. Yeah. So she has another name also, Mokshaya Dini also. Mokshaya Dini means she gives liberation, but it takes a while. Takes a long time to simply bathe. But there are many people, as Prabhupada mentions in this purport, that those who are living in this river, Kaveri, Ganga, Godavari, all these rivers, if you are living in that region, so naturally you become purified just by taking the water. And because the people there are naturally purified, they follow Vedic culture very nicely. And they perform worship to the Supreme Lord, or at least they follow Vedas. Nice. So they're all able to help others. And these rivers, as Prabhupada says, many of such wonderful rivers are found in India, and therefore India is known as Punya Bhumi. But the people nowadays are not so punya, not so pious. Huh? They don't understand the legacy they have, you know. Yeah, and yeah, she's very compassionate and she's a giver of liberation. Yeah, and in most of our rituals, we need Ganges water, right? When we even do all this Abhishek and so on, we chant Ganga cha Yamuna cha Godavari Saraswati Damodari Sindhu Kaveri Jalasmin Sannidham Kuru. We worship and we call the rivers into the cup of water, and then we do the achaman and all those things. Even in funerals, if you have Ganges water, you sprinkle on the ashes, or you take the ashes of the dead people, you go to Ganga, so that they can get cleansed of their karma and hopefully they get elevated spiritually. Yeah. That's the reason most people take the ashes, so they can go to a higher platform, you know, higher realms. Most people will go, if they get that auspicious, they at least get to go and enjoy some heavenly pleasure. But for devotees, we are not interested in the heaven. We are more interested in going back to Godhead. Now, of course, they have festivals, right? Ganga as a goddess, she has, her Vimana is crocodile. Okay, just in case you're wondering. She rides on a crocodile, just like all the other demigods, like Lord Shiva is Nandi, right? And Brahma has a swan, like that. So everyone has their own vehicle. I think Ganesh has a mouse. It's an elephant on a mouse. Oh, it's a big mouse. So they have celebration. The day she comes down is known as Ganga Dussehra. I think you all celebrate in India, no? Not in your place, not in Nepal. Really? And then also she is the main personality in Kumbh Mela. Without her, you can't do anything. Yeah. Of course, that Kumbh Mela means the nectar, Amrita is falling in the same water, so they all go. Everyone wants to live forever. Yeah. So you go to Varanasi, Haridwar, they do a lot of pujas to Ganga. And even Ganga you worship, you take her water and offer it to her, you know. Yeah. Because um, you can't get it anywhere else for worship. Only she can give. So to even worship her, we then have to offer the same water to her. Same way, Krishna is giving us everything. It actually belongs to him. Everything, whether even we cook bhoga also is his. But because we acknowledge and we say, you know, for our own purification, we offer it back to Krishna. And he, out of his infinite mercy and kindness, compassion, he accepts it and gives it as a double mercy. It's already mercy, we are living in the material, but he blesses it specially. So that's how it is. Nowadays, as I mentioned, Ganga is not properly taken care of in India. They have dams all over the rivers and they block the flow. Otherwise, Ganga flows freely and strongly. They block and they dump all the industrial waste. So much waste, some parts of the Ganga. Now, if you ever go to the middle of the Ganga, near the side or the banks of Ganga is always dirty. Although she is pure, the people throw all the dirt, so you can get contaminated from the dirt they throw, not from Ganga river. But if you go to the middle, and I've done it before in the Mayapur and so on, you can take a cup and go in the Ganga water and you can look at the water, it's clear, crystal clear. And I've even drunk the water, it's so refreshing. Yeah. So you could do that. Although she is supposed to be pure, there should be a lot of reverence for her. Still, people don't understand nowadays. And they actually spoil. They are very disrespectful to her. That's the other thing. When you go to take bath, you have to pay obeisance to her and ask permission, and then you take some water. You can either bath completely or you take some water and sprinkle. It's the same, no difference. Shastra says sprinkling water on your head is the same as taking full bath. Okay? Yeah, so there's no problem. But we should always be respectful. Yeah. Not do nonsense and so on.
Have ever Ganges got like angry, like because of all these?
Yeah, of course. You know, if she's unhappy, she will not flow strongly. She will hold back. Yeah, yeah. That's how she is. Everyone is. If you after a long time people still abuse you, you will do something eventually. So Ganga will dry up a little bit just to take away the mercy like that, or through the Lord's urging, she may also stop flowing, or she go underground like Saraswati. Right? People are so nonsense. The river Saraswati is now underground. She flows under the near Pakistan, or because that's the people are killing cows and so on. So she says, "No more. I'm going down." So much pollution, but they find that the water, Ganges water, when they bottle the water and they took it on ship, it takes 3-4 months in those days. And when they reach like Europe or England, the water was still fresh. So they can't understand how. Because ordinary waters, when they put in bottle, it becomes moldy and starts to smell and so on. But Ganges water remains pure forever, actually. And so the scientists say because it's got all different levels of chemicals, minerals, and so it is like that. Another scientist, he was saying, because there is this bacteriophage, that means it's a virus that kills all bacteria, and so therefore it's pure. So people can say what they want, but we know why she is always pure. Because she's not a river, she's a celestial being, she's a spiritual being who has come down to help us purify ourselves so that we can do our eternal service for Narayana. Yeah. Okay. I will stop here. Any comments, questions? Yeah. Next one.
When you read that purport, it seems like, like simply being there, the purification happens. But say if someone's smoking ganja on the bank of the Ganga, does that seem like that example given of the elephant
Bathing, yes.
So therefore it counteracts
the purification, yes. Yeah. Although we can purify, you're absolutely right. Although we purify a little bit, we cannot keep doing sinful activities. Then we can never get out of that cycle. Yeah. So you're right. Yeah. Ganga. So yeah, whenever you go to tirthas, you should actually, Prabhupada says, or in the Bhagavatam he says, Swantastena Gadabhrita. Tirthi kurvanti tirthani Swantastena Gadabhrita. The pure devotees are already carrying Krishna in their heart. Therefore they are the tirthas themselves. This is in when Yudhishthira Maharaj meets Vidura, and so he praises him like that. So you are carrying Gadabrita, that means Narayana carries the Gada. So you say holder of the Gada. So you are holding, therefore wherever you go, that place becomes a Tirtha. So although Ganga is a Tirtha also where we go and bathe, but you need personalities like pure devotees to come and even purify the Ganga itself. And what I wanted to say is the effect of Ganga takes longer, but if you meet these personalities, pure devotees, Vaishnavas and so on, they can purify us very quickly, much quickly. Otherwise, if you just take bath in Ganga, you can take birth for hundreds of lifetimes before you take up devotional practices. But if you meet the devotee once or twice, that's it. It's very strong. Of course, even then, some people won't take it up because they are very unfortunate. Anything else? Yeah.
Also, when you read these descriptions, you can understand how people would put them into the classification of mythology. But like for someone who's aspiring to be a devotee, like you really don't have any issue with it.
That's right.
It just seems
We accept it. Yeah.
No problem. that can happen.
Yeah.
There's no even like a question of any doubt or
No
anything
doubt.
like that. So what's the contributing factor of that? Acceptance rather than non-acceptance. Faith
in the words of the Shastra. Nayam lokastina parona sukham samsayatmanaha. For a doubting soul in the scripture, there's no happiness in this world nor in the next world. So even you could be a Brahmana and still not believe in it. Yare dekha tare gaya Krishna Upadesh. And Mahaprabhu says everyone should go and preach all over the world. Prithivi ache nagare grama, right? The verse. So even Prabhupada's own God brothers, they were thinking, this cannot happen. How can they go all over the world? And Prabhupada proved that you can, because he had faith in his Guru and the Shastra. Oh well, he had more faith in his Guru, and he did it to show that the words of Shastra is always truthful. So Brahmanas, they may say, but they may not believe many things. A lot of them are like that. And therefore you find those problems are coming up. And therefore, when new people or philosophers who approach such Brahmanas and talk to them, then they will think this is just a mythology. That's one thing. The other thing is, when the British came to India, they could not break the Brahminical culture. And so they got the young children and they sent them to these Catholic schools, Christian schools, to brainwash them by saying this is all mythology. And that's how they tried to break the culture. But they had a hard time still breaking the culture. But the Yanks came in and broke it easily, bringing in TV and McDonald's. All the Indians, they just think they have to change their culture. Yeah.
Krishna Maharaj, in this context of preaching, like, do we have to preach like anything with the preaching, Krishna directly or through the yoga process? Like, if we do through the like different process.
It depends on who your audience is, and many factors you have to see, and you have to be very quickly recognize how you can either convince them or how you can make them understand. So maybe some people like to hear stories, and that they feel, yeah, that makes sense. But others are more logical, so you have to discuss in a logical way. And then the others, you cannot convince them, so you give them prasadam. Yeah. So just you have to see time, place, circumstances, your audience, and you talk according. You have to know what they know. Young people have certain things they do. So if you know that, then you talk in that style, in that fashion. They're like, oh yeah, man, that's cool.
But do we need to bring the Krishna like
in the beginning?
Not in the beginning, like
No, I'm asking.
In the talking.
Why not?
Whenever.
You can say we believe there's a supreme being and we call him Krishna. I don't think we should shy away from our beliefs unless you have people who are really nasty people who don't want to hear God or what. Then you don't mention. Then you indicate like, oh, look at the sun, it's so nice. And he said, yeah, the sun is nice. But you're thinking of Krishna says, I am the sun. But my eyes are like the sun. I am the sun. I am the moon. I'm the light in the sun and the moon. Yeah. Yeah, like that. So you remember that verse, then you can say, look at the sun. So you're trying to connect them to the Supreme Lord through that. Although it seems impersonal, but still you're connecting them. Yeah. But yeah, so you have to see your audience or the person you're preaching. But in all cases, if you are a good person and you're friendly, that is the basis of making impact, that you can connect with person. That's the most important thing. Philosophy will come later. When you make friends, that's the most important. Then if they like you, they want to be like you. You can speak a lot of philosophy, you can quote 1 million verses, still they may not be convinced. Yeah. Yeah, it's friendship that is very important. Okay, yeah.
The example there of the 60,000 sons, they made that assumption. And again, they put one and one together and came up with three sort of thing where they just saw the horse, they saw Kapila Muni and just said, okay.
Yeah, they made an assumption. Yeah.
So, like a lot of times in life,
we make assumptions.
We have that
tendency.
Yeah. So again, it comes from like a very impulsive nature rather than like taking some time to try to see the situation more clearly. So how do we go from that, like impulsive nature to,
when
judge things prematurely?
One of the things I recommend to most people is whatever question is posed to us, we should not be jumping to give the answer immediately. We should say, let me think about it, and I'll come back to you. And that way, although you may know a semblance of the answer, you may not know the answer completely. So it'll give you an opportunity to at least go back and refer and then come back and talk to them. But if you know it thoroughly, then it's okay. That's one thing. The other thing is impulsive nature is due to the mode of passion generally. So that means we need to become to mode of goodness. So how to be in the mode of goodness? Follow sadhana bhakti properly. Get up in the morning, chant the holy names, do come and see the deities, take prasadam, clean lifestyle, pure lifestyle will bring us to a point where we don't do things impulsively, but rather we see how it is connected to Krishna, for at least for us, Vaishnava. Before we judge another person, we should see, instead of saying why she did that, why he did that, and we like, there must be a reason why they did that. Let me understand first why they did that. And then I can see whether that was right or wrong. No need to judge people sometimes. Yeah, that's how I would approach it. Alright, so thank you very much. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Premanandi.